I'm pretty sure I know how this pans out. It's like, the member of the globalist elites, of course, they will still have their stake and whatever. And, the regular people, they will be fed with bugs. So sorry, I'm going to say this right now. I am not going to eat bugs.
So, hi everyone. As many of you know, two of our journalists, Lewis Brackpool from the UK and Lincoln J from Toronto, have left to go reporting in the Netherlands on the farmer protests. We all know that many farmers have decided to rebel against the new nitrogen and carbon regulation that Mark Rutte, Prime Minister of the Netherlands and contributor to the World Economic Forum 2030 agenda, has imposed. For more information about that, please go to farmerrebellion.com. This means disastrous economic losses and the disuse of their land. It is important to remember that the Netherlands is one of the largest exporters of food produce and is an important food chain for many countries. Meanwhile, in Canada, Justin Trudeau has injected about $8.5 million into Aspire London, a company that farms insects like crickets. Bill Gates recently purchased about 242,000 acres of farmland in the United States for about $690 million. This makes him the largest owner of farmland in the United States. It is a strange coincidence that everything happened in a short period of time. Today, I'm speaking with Christine Anderson, member of the European Parliament for Germany. For those who don't know her, this is the lady who sent a nice message of welcome to Mr. Trudeau.
It would have been more appropriate for Mr. Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address this House according to Article 144, an article which was specifically designed to debate violations of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, which is clearly the case with Mr. Trudeau. Then again, a prime minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this House at all. Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence. Thank you.
Today, she gave us her takes on what is happening with the farmer in the Netherlands. I really want to know, what do you think of the farmer rebellion against the new regulation on nitrogen and carbon emission imposed by Mark Rutte in Netherlands, but also it's growing in Italy and Germany. So do you support them? What do you think about all of this?
Well, first of all, it was about time that someone just said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. We will not go along here anymore. It's kind of like the freedom truckers in Canada. I mean, so my utmost respect, because their livelihoods are being threatened here. And once again, it's all about, climate change or whatever, once again, a way to push the globalist agenda. And when you look at the absurd things, it was actually passed in EU Parliament here. And basically, that's why it's being implemented in the member states right now. So what we're looking at is, so for instance, they want to drastically reduce these pollutant emissions. So they want to reduce the emissions of nitrogen oxides and ammonia by 50% by the year of 2030. And in order to do that, they have to cut down on livestock. So estimates think about 30% of farmers, they will simply have to shut down their livelihood, close it all down, because they will no longer be allowed to have livestock. And in terms of that, it's quite interesting then to read that your brilliant Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Canada, he just issued basically the go on investing 8.5 million Canadian dollars on an insect production, so and then you kind of know where this is all going. So since livestock has such a traumatic effect on climate change, and for that you will have to say people actually think the weather, how it was yesterday or will be tomorrow, they confuse this or mistake that for climate. It has nothing to do with climate. That's weather and not climate. So once again, it's this whole ideology. And they want to cut down on livestock. So, and especially the Greens, the Green Party in Germany, at least in Europe, they have been all over people to cut down on their consumption of meat because, this is really terrible. When you think back, it was once mankind discovered to eat meat, he was able, to develop a brain. So we are in this position today. But it kind of feeds into, now they're investing in insect farms. So to breed insects, because they could potentially be a supplier of protein, So, and I'm pretty sure I know how this pans out. It's like, the member of the globalist elites, of course, they will still have their stake and whatever. And, the regular people, they will be fed with bugs. So sorry, I'm going to say this right now. I am not going to eat bugs, no matter what. But this is basically what this is all about. That there's other provisions, like they are now compelled to a particular area of their land they're no longer allowed to farm. They have to keep it just the way it is. They're not even allowed to plant flowers on that farmland. They're not. So it's absolutely ridiculous. It has nothing to do with saving climate, whatever. None of that. It's once again another mechanism of pushing a globalist elite's agenda.
So I know you are aware of the issue. Do other MP in the European Parliament are raising their voice? Do they are concerned about what the problem that they face for the farmer, and especially that will impact their livelihood, how they live, the money that they make, and as well that will probably impact the other country around, because Netherlands is one of the biggest exporter of farm produce.
Right. It will hit every country. I mean, it's just starting now in the Netherlands, but this will have to be. It was programmed, like I said, it was voted on here in EU Parliament, and it was Fit for 55. It's part of this, but it's the whole, the new Green Deal package. So you have different aspects, and it will have to be implemented in every single member state. And just looking at this, and now with the war going on in Ukraine, it's not like that we, have an abundance of wheat right now. So what in the heck are they doing even, So now cutting down on or slashing down on the farmers, basically, no wonder they take to the streets and they start their protest, and right they are. And it's kind of like starting in Germany too. I was on the road past weekend, and along on the highways, there were a couple of farmers with their
tractor.
Yeah, they were, lining the street, or they were standing on an overbridge. So they're getting ready because, and I hope they will not back down. And I hope they will finally stand up and to tell the government, you are not going to do this to us. But once again, the smear campaigns, it's already starting. Of course, they're violent. They're, whatever, right-wing extremists. And the whole shebang is happening all over again. But on the other hand, if they block off, all the streets and whatever, how they're doing in the Netherlands. And, you know, if the farmers don't work anymore, I guess we won't have food anymore, you know. Maybe that'll teach them. I don't know.
So this is happening a little bit everywhere. What is the repercussion in the UE Parliament? Do some people are saying what is happening? Do they have concern? Do that make a difference on the MP?
Once again, to the vast majority, they don't even blink twice about this. You know, so there was a couple of farmers, you know, going to protest. Once again, what probably right-wing extremists. So they kind of push it aside. But I mean, that's what we've been saying, and my party's been saying all along. You can't do this. You cannot just, you know, cut down on people's very existence. You can't do this. And for what? Once again, for what? Because we think we can change the climate? Seriously? Gosh, you know, what a hybris. I mean, seriously. I mean, there are so many factors, you know, going to climate. But to think that the human beings have a significant impact on climate, that is ridiculous. That is so utterly ridiculous. And then to think that Germany, you know, we will do it all. We will stop this climate change, whatever that is supposed to be. That is so absurd. But that's how they function here. And like I said, no, it doesn't bother them too, not yet anyway. But if this continues, it might, and especially when we're in the summertime now. But at the latest, when we go into fall, you know, now we no longer have a gas, you know, because Germany once again decided that Putin was so bad, you know, we can't even buy his gas anymore. So we are not taking his gas, but we're paying it because we're bound by contracts. So we're telling him, you can keep your gas. We will pay you. No problem here. We will stick to the contract. So then what Russia is doing, he's selling the gas to India. And then we buy the Russian gas from India, of course, pay it not only twice for it, but we pay India, you know, another fee on top of it for delivering it to us. I mean, really, how absurd is this? And just today, the minister from the Greens, Habeck, he basically prepared the German population. Yep, there will be times when the gas is just being shut off. And they're now erecting tents, so-called warming halls, so that people in the wintertime can go to warm up. I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding you. I'm not. And this, like I said, we're doing all of this for some ideology that the people don't have, you know, there is no benefit to the people from any of this. None whatsoever. And this is happening everywhere. So now looking, when we're going in towards the winter, things are going to get a lot tougher around here. So we're talking about there won't be probably not much gas to heat your houses, food shortages, you know, all of this is going on. And their whole concern, once again, is how to get everyone vaccinated. That is starting to, by the way. I was just in committee today. It was the special committee on COVID. And there is nothing you can do or you can say. You can show them data, you can show them facts. And it's all coming to light now. They still know we need to vaccinate. And they're still doing that too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
And we see recently the euro has reached parity with Canadian dollars.
Yes.
That's been really a while. So the inflation is continuing to rise. For example, Sri Lanka has gone bankrupt recently. What do you fear for Europe?
For Europe?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't really fear anything. I mean, like I said, it's about time that people stand up and tell their governments, we will not take this anymore. Now, obviously, I do not want, civil war-like scenes around here. That would be terrible. But on the other hand, it's like, gosh, yeah, that's what happens when you treat people like crap. This is what happens. They will take it for some time. They will go along for some time. But there will be a time when they just say, no, we will not do this anymore. So, like I said, but I'm not in fear of any of that.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think about the fact that Trudeau is doing an influence on a part of Europe just because of his decision with other?
Oh, Trudeau he has no influence on Europe. No, she's just playing along. I mean, seriously. And the more video clips I see of him, he's rather pathetic. Seriously. I mean, I really can't take him seriously anymore. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the way he acts, the way he carries himself, but he has no influence on anyone. He is the one being influenced by the globalist elites, but he's just another one of those well-trained puppies that just do whatever he's being told, just to give it that democratic facade, since he is an elected MEP. So, but he's not making any decisions. He's just carrying them out.
If you had like a message to send, maybe to give hope to farmer, what it would be?
What would it be? It would actually be pretty much the same thing I told the Canadian truckers. It's high time that someone did something. And I would urge them to not back down. I would really hope that they had the courage and the backbone to actually pull through with this, and once again, turn off your television sets. You're not being fed information on mainstream media. You're being brainwashed and indoctrinated. So just turn it off. You will not get any smarter by watching TV. You just won't. On the contrary. So no, I really hope that they pull through and that they stick to what they set out to do, and they will not back down, like I said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably don't speak Dutch, huh? But like,
no, I don't. No, I don't.
I was like, maybe you have like a message in their language that some people like can.
Unfortunately, I don't. I could try in German. I'm pretty sure most of them will understand German.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, dann machen wir das jetzt so. Liebe niederländische Bauern, auch auf euch bin ich sehr stolz, dass ihr es euch nicht länger gefallen lasst, von einer globalen Elite am Nasenring durch die Manege gezogen zu werden. Ich wünsche euch sehr viel Erfolg. Bleibt bei der Sache. Lasst euch nicht unterkriegen. Lasst euch nicht einschüchtern. Und es war höchste Zeit, dass jemand etwas getan hat. Ihr habt es getan und dafür danke ich euch.
I don't know what you say, but
I just basically said the same thing I told you in English.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So I addressed them directly to, stand up and not back down and so.
But thank you so much. I think we need to stand united in all of this because, as you know, bugs is a reality. And
actually, I have one other piece of good news this time from Europe, France. The National Parliament in France, they just slashed down Macron. They were going to pass, or were about to pass, new legislation on the whole pandemic restrictions thing. And the National Parliament said no. So there will not be any digital green certificate required when you travel to France. So the national parliament said, we're not going to do this anymore. And so it was stopped on that level, at least. So once again, thank you, France, that you did that. And yeah, it was interesting. And of course, the newspapers, the media, they're all over and now, because the left-wing extremists and the right-wing extremists worked together to make this happen. And of course, they're labeling that too in such a fashion. But it kind of just goes to show what I've been saying all along. It's no longer a matter of left or right. It is a matter of freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. And the people need to understand this. So I don't care if you know, or basically, I don't care if you support a left agenda, you know, as long as you're willing to fight for freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, I'm right there with you. So basically, what people need to get, they need to unite to fight the globalist elites. So, but a piece of good news from France.
Yeah, I was actually writing a piece on France, and I'm trying to understand fully, because it was a project of law that they wanted to pass, but the Article number 2 was rejected. But the law was, first of all, adopted, but the Article number 2 was rejected.
Right.
The second
exactly. Right. That specific element, it was not adopted. So there was rejected, but it definitely is a start, and that there was a major part of that legislation. So, but what they could do, however, is once again go through via the EU institutions and, you know, push it through some other kind of way. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, because that's the very reason the EU institutions even exist. You know, in case something does go wrong in some national member state, you know, it can always be fixed on EU level. So we'll have to see. But if they did that, then it's for everyone to see right there, you know. And well, then even more people will see the EU for what it is, an anti-democratic, disgusting place.
So if you want to support our journalism and help with their travel expense, you can do so to farmerrebellion.com. And as well, you can inform yourself on what is going on there, because all of their report is on this website. So thanks, guys.